Hello there, today we are going to do some speedrun. We are going to put a website live in prod as fast as possible with the full Datastar stack. Even if I go fast, I will try to take the time to explain everything in my stack and how I manage my website and the choices I've made and why I've made them. Alright, let's go. Let's go. First, create a folder. We are going to do this by going to some repositories. So I have a special code repository /sites, and we are going to type the command uv init. uv is a special kind of tool to use Python manager which will set up the virtual environment, the dependency management for you. Really useful. If you want to start a project, you type uv init and the name of the folder. For example, we are going to do a website called and when you press enter, you see initialized project Datastar. And uv put a gitignore file, which will be useful later, Python version and PyProject to keep in check the dependencies, a hello world Python file, and a readme. Second thing to do, we are going to add the libraries that we need. So for example, we can type uv.add, then add whatever libraries. So for example, Sanic, which is now my preferred Python backend. We are going to add the Datastar helpers, which live in PyPy under Datastar PI. Oh, forgot the add, be careful. And we are going to add, what else? I like to use TinyDB, for example, so you can chain libraries like that. What else do I like to use? I like to use Faker as well. So put all the dependencies you need. See, when we type ls, note that libraries were added. We have a virtual environment that was created automatically by UV, which is very, very nice. Step 3, open in cursor. And we are going to do some stuff. I don't like hello.py, so I will rename it app.py. LLMs are kinda good for boilerplates, so boilerplate for a Sanic application. Okay, so this is the boilerplate we get for the Sanic application. I don't like that, so I'm going to show you the way I like to do it. I don't like to use responses from Sanic import. Sanic is good. We are going to use the helpers from the Python SDK. We installed also Datastar response and server send generator as SSC. The app doesn't need no argument. For the routes, we are going to see that later. I don't like the if main because we are going to run the application from the command line. Let's as well put some folders for static. We are going to add a file here, index.html, to serve as the home page. Boilerplate index.html. The best boilerplate is this one. We add data onload get, let's say init. We are going to declare this route app.get init async init request. We are going to say that this is a Datastar response, so the new way to do it just to slam a little decorator on it. And then we can return whatever we want. Return SSE patch elements main. Okay. Main. Let's test our application. So what you do, you say uv run Sanic app.app. This will run even if Sanic is in the virtual environment thanks to UV, and you indicate that you are developing with the dev option. Oh, my bad, I made a mistake. It is from Datastar pi.sanic. I needed to import some specific stuff. Sorry, let's try to run the code again. Sanic requires a name. Okay, let's call it MM. Let's try to run again. This is why it's important not to go to prod too soon. Probably messed up some other things. URL not found, that's right, because I didn't declare the static index.html file. So what we do here is saying that some routes are static so that Sanic can serve them more efficiently. For example, the route here, you are going to serve index.html, and we can precise a name for the route. Slightly better, we have our document now, and we have a Datastar error. Yes, we didn't even import Datastar in the JS, so let's fix that. This is a speedrun and I'm kinda sloppy. This is not a problem. You go to datastar.dev, you enjoy the new website, you click on guide to get started, you copy the npm port, you slap it into the boilerplate, get Datastar now. Yes, we do. Upload has a problem, missing slash. Yeah, I forgot to say that this is a text. Root failed to execute because we have a bad selector on our main ID equals main. Main ID equals main. We forgot that as well. So there we have it. The OK is there. Alright, we are going to add some CSS. For example, we want a gray body with a color light gray. For the text, the main element in the center is self-center. The height of the body be like full height. So yeah, the minimum height of the body to be full height. Safe viewport height. We can ask the LLM to put some add some CSS reset. Yeah, that's the one that we want. We can also tell them to use the font in static fonts. Alright, we are going to use some custom font for this one. So, and we add it to the body. Neola, and if it's not, so it's not working because we haven't said to Sanic where the static file was. So you use the same function to declare static stuff to Sanic, and you say, hey, when you find something with /static in it, you can add a slash at the end for more security. It means go to this folder to search for it. So it will allow Sanic to serve fonts and stuff like that quicker. with a font size of like 4M, let's say. Okay, we are good. So this is the boilerplate website that we want. Now let's put it online. To put it online, we are going to push it to GitHub. So this is what I like about VS Code or Cursor, is that you have the GitHub integration right there. You can commit everything you've done and publish to a public repository on the master branch. And if we go tab, we should be able to see it right there. Alright, so the code, as you can see, is now online, and I am going to use GitHub between the prod and the dev environment. Now the code is in GitHub, so let's connect to our server to put it back. I have set up a shortcut for this, and boom, I'm logged to my server. You can see here my IP address, and my last login was this morning. I am running Debian on the server, as you can see. It is a $3 per month server from OVH, and it lives in Germany. In my home folder in the server, I have all my websites. I really like to do this. I have a different website, different folder for each website. And what we are going to do is go to GitHub, take here the Git address of the project. So you copy it right there, and you say git clone, pull it back, boom. Now I type ls, and you see that Datastar MM is right there. I don't like Datastar RM as a name, it is a development name, so let's say we want to rename it using the move command into just MM, and use move, and there we have our little folder. If we go to MM, what you are going to see is that there is no virtual environment here, because the virtual environment was put into the gitignore. You can take a look at it. This was done automatically by UV. So you type UV init, no, you type AV sync, and using CPython, you see in like a few milliseconds it copied and all the dependencies that I needed, created a virtual environment with all the stuff, so Datastar PI, Sanic and stuff. And now we are good to go. We could, if you just have one website, you can, starting from there, just say UV run Sanic app.app, and your setup. You will be able to serve content. I want to serve multiple stuff. So what I'm going to do is use Caddy as a web server. Caddy is a great service written in Go to serve different files. Let's see by doing. So you install Caddy, you follow the instructions on the website, and then you go to your configuration file for Caddy, which lives at x Caddy. It's called Caddy file, and if we take a look at the Caddy file, maybe we can. So I'm using Micro to edit my documents. We are going to see how to plug VS Code or Cursor into the server later, but for now, Micro will do. We will see and modify the Caddy file. What do we have in the Caddy file? We have a block called app-config, which will be the configuration shared by all my websites. So they will all have some security headers, some automatic static stuff, some management of cache, and then you have the list of all my websites. So the main one here, leg.ovh, and its www main Apex domain. And I am going to use proxies so that Sanic, for example, can communicate with the rest of the server where Caddy will run. So proxy is like a temporary file which two processes can use to communicate. It's a really handy way to not have to manage ports, addresses and all that stuff. You just use Unix to say, hey, you two, you talk over there. This snippet here is going to import the same application configuration, so the same block that was defined earlier for all my websites. And then you see I have chat.leg.ovh, just change the proxy, radio, sisters, crazy, temp, cosmos chess, stuff like that. So I have all my leg here. We are going to add mm.leg.ovh, reverse proxy Unix home li mm.soc import config save quit, and then to notify Caddy that the configuration change, sudo Caddy reload. But Sanic is not currently running in the server to serve the website. So what we are going to do is use the systemd service to launch the command uv run app, Sanic app, stuff like that. This way we can have a service with a status, with the auto reload and stuff like that. So I already have a lot of these things set up. You go to systemd system. Here you can see all my services, and for example we are going to show the temp service. Alright, Sanic instance to serve temp after network targets, and here is just some commands to run, so the service will just run, as you see, Sanic here from the virtual environment. Let's copy that, let's add a new service, sudo micro, so let's call it mm.service. I hope you can see better there, so it's going to be a Sanic instance to serve instead from me, and the group is www.data. I specify the working directory, and from there I say use the virtual environment and Sanic inside it to launch app.app using the socket that we want. We haven't created it, but the two files are smart enough to create it when the service will run. And then some tips, auto reload. It's a really nice option on Sanic, because when you make a modification and save the file, see it instantly. And no access logs, because I don't care, and it speeds up the process considerably. Even if you want access logs, maybe use Caddy logging to do it instead of Sanic logging. I think it will be faster. We save the file, we notify systemd that a new service was added. So first we use daemon reload. Here, sudo system control, we are going to do enable the service first to create a symlink for it, and then we can start it, and then let's check the status. Failed. Alright, we have a problem, but we have a service. So I make a cut here in the video because I lost a lot of time during the speedrun because of small typing mistakes, and I mean, you're already probably horrified by the way I use bash. If you have some nice bash tips, please drop them in the comments. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. But yeah, there was a small mistake, so we are going to reload and restart the process. Let's hope for the best. Alright, we reload, we restart. The status, it is running. And you see that we have some messages from Sanic here. And now, if we go to mm.leg.ovh, tada! So the website is now live. We are at 43 minutes, but I lost a lot of time with the stupid typing mistakes. Usually going from developing an ID to prod is around 20-30 minutes, which is kind of... Alright, so now let's close the loop. What we are going to do is use cursor, but this time to connect via SSH to the folder, the remote folder of MM. So we click on connect via SSH here, we select our server, I make cut because cursor takes a lot of time. Alright, so cursor open, you see the remote folder. The first thing that you want to do here, add the socket to the git ignore. It's right there where it needs to be, but no need for the local environment where we want it to. And for example, let's say that we want the font to be way bigger, so 14 size, we save this, and because we have specified auto reload in Sanic, if we save the app.py file, notice that I don't do anything, and if I reload the site, boom. Alright, so this way I am able to make live quick dirty modification on a running website. But now if we close the loop, I'm going to exit my remote server. Let's go back to local. What we are going to do in local is run the app in local again. Oh, sorry, don't forget in dev mode, so you have better logs, auto reload and stuff. Let's see the local view, so it still have the small font. And let's say I go back to my local cursor. Here I can just pull the modifications from the remote. Did I push them on GitHub though? I think I didn't. So here you can say hello from prod. You are going to push the modification on git ignore and the new CSS. Hello from prod. Here you see that local is still at fiat lux. We pull the branch from remote. There we have it. Hello from prod with the new font size, and here in local we have the good font size again. So there you have it. If you want to work on a feature or a big modification, pull the stuff from the GitHub, work on it locally until you're satisfied, push it to the GitHub, and then pull it from the remote. If you have some little modification, some stuff that you want to add up real quick, just modify the remote directly, save it with auto reload, and you can fix a bug in 10 seconds. This is the setup I use. In the end, with all the explanation and stuff, we are at 50 minutes. Tell me what you think about this in the comments. Don't hesitate to set up yours. It's always good to make your first step with a VPS. I don't have any affiliate links with OVH or whatever. by the way. They were just the cheapest on the market, so this is what I went with. Just a quick insert here to talk about the server, and I'm showing you the HTOP output. As you can see, it's a $3 server. I have one CPU, which is like 6% load. Memory, I only have 2 GB of RAM, and we are still in the clear. And most of that is taken up by Debian anyway. And as you can see in the processes, I have like 10 websites, all with their own virtual environment, and they take like 2% of memory and almost no CPU. So this way of doing it is quite efficient because you can have different environments, different methods of serving things. And this is also here something I want you to look at, is that we are serving some Quartz stuff with Hypercorn as the ASGI. My previous apps were made in Quartz. I am not showing you how to do it in this video. If you are interested, drop a comment and I'll make a video about running Quartz on a server. It's kinda modular, really efficient, and the server is alright with 10 websites. Don't hesitate to go on the main website to help me upgrade my server by clicking these 2 buttons. And well, before we leave, what was this video about? I'm going to add mm.leg.ovh to the website. If you follow the video so far, really simple, we connect to the remote. Okay, once we are connected to the remote, we are going to add another card to the website. Just modify the HTML, add a new icon. So mm, we are going to put some question marks because there's nothing on it yet. Question marks, the link to the stuff. Here I will put the YouTube video. We save app.py, so I have custom auto reload on all my websites, so we should be good. And here, if we reload, alright, the card was just added. Play here. Oh my god! Oh my god, what happened? So, I did a little cut and I did a little something. As you see, there is a countdown. How did I do the countdown, you ask? Let's reopen our file. And here we have the new init route. So here is how I did the countdown. I use datetime for the release date of the countdown. Compute the current time in the server at the moment where the request hits. If it's before release, we compute the difference. And then we yield, because we are in a generator, a new main element with the time difference in it. We sleep for 1 second in an async context, and then we update the current time. And the loop will continue. So 2 things. The first is that with Datastar response, you can stream responses and you can stream generator. So a really handy decorator here. The second thing, which is really important, is that this is the real time. We are going to keep open one connection for everyone, and they are going to receive the real time before release. This is not a JavaScript object with a decrementing value, It is a real connection that you can see here pushing the new date second after second. If I want to delay the release date, for example, I can just modify a value here, and everyone will have the new release date. Now, some of you will ask the question, but isn't that too many open connections? No. Because we use Caddy server, we have HTTP3 and quick connections, so we can keep open connections for a lot of users. This $3 VPS won't crash, even if a lot of people are watching the countdown in the last few minutes. And well, for the most part of you, the question you have wasn't this. It was what happens when the countdown hits 0. Well, that's for me to decide. I'm going to just change this part to return something else when the current time is the release time. But the best part about it is that I can push that to prod and then develop in secret on my local machine what I am cooking at the end of the countdown. So what is going to happen? You're gonna have to wait. In the meanwhile, if you like the video, please leave a comment. If you dislike the video, please leave some sysadmin tips and bash utilities. And most importantly, be there. See ya.